Today on Meat Revival, deep fried ribs.
Hi folks, welcome back to Meat Revival. We're still over at the Fun House in Byhalia, Mississippi with Mark Lambert, Sweet Swine of Mine Distributor. Mark's got some ribs out here. He's going to do it a little different way. What are you going to do with these things?
You know, you happen up on a lot of good recipes by mistake.
Yeah.
And sometimes good things happen out of, just on whims. And that was one of the things we did at Memphis in May one year. We were trimming ribs, not for competition, but just for hospitality.
Right.
And we had usually when you trim a competition rib, you're going to cut this little end bone off, and you're going to cut a couple of bones off of this end.
Right.
And Memphis in May, you cook baby backs, or around Memphis, baby backs are popular. And we cut those off, and we do that, one, because they fit on the cooker better, and two, that 11 or 10 bone slab cooks a lot more evenly, and you're using the center mass anyway. Right. So it's just easier to deal with that. So we had those laying over there one day, and everyone had kind of left, and my mama told me to waste not. So I figured there's something I can do with that without throwing that away again. So I just finished hot wing competition, threw some in the fryer. Tasted pretty good.
In the deep fry.
In the deep fry. And so I thought, taking a step further, I'll prep, throw them in the fryer. But what it reminded me of was the pork chop they have at my grandma's on Sunday afternoon. Because it's kind of what it is, on a back rib. So I did that, and then the next batch that came out, I tossed them with some of my wing sauce. And I'll show you what I do for my wing sauce here in a second. We're going to use the same thing. It just works, and everyone keeps coming back year after year asking for my fried ribs. Something I learned on a whim.
Huh.
So we toss them in flour, a seasoned flour. We make the sauce. When they come out, we fry them a little lower temperature. You'll see around 330, 10, 12 minutes, depending on how thick the ribs are, until you start to see some of the marrow come out the end of it, and they float and they're golden brown. We're going to toss them in a really good sauce. So, if you're going to cook barbecue ribs, you're going to trim all this up real nice and pretty, and you're going to pull this membrane. But for this, we don't have to worry too much about all that. I'm going to pull some of this off, which is just this breastplate.
So you just kind of squaring that up.
Just squaring it up, and that right there's got a lot of cartilage in it. We'll still fry it, but I want to know what part has all the little cartilage tips in it, and what part doesn't. Now after that, we're not going to fry this thing whole. We're going to go in here. I want to make sure we cut between the bones. We're just going to cut individual little ribs. Now, the ribs are kind of crooked on this end. Sometimes they're kind of hard to see. If you cut them from this direction, you're going to be hitting bone holes.
Right.
So you see we're cutting them on the back side so you can really see where the bones are. This was a Creole slab. It was a little crooked. That's why we're using it. So,
and when you're in a contest, trimming or cutting your ribs for presentation, you're doing it meat side down as well.
I do it the same exact way.
Right.
When I'm cutting them for presentation, I'll sauce the board.
Right.
And then I'll turn my ribs upside down on the board. And that way, you notice these are still pretty straight cuts.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm going to cut from the corner of this side to the corner of this side as I move along. Instead of following the bone at an angle, and that angle changes as it goes across. It goes from crooked to straight.
So you have a fan versus rectangles.
Yeah, and I want rectangles because they look good in the box. They're easy to put together.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's a little presentation tip that you pass along there. I don't know if you meant to or not, but that was no charge, folks.
Yeah, it just winds up, and when I cut them just like this, and then I flip them over.
Yeah.
And I'll flip them over, and those are usually
There you go.
neighborhood. Right there is usually the 5 bones I'll turn in.
Okay.
It just makes it real simple, and instead of having curved bones in the box, they're all nice and straight. So, simple as that. So, what we do to put this together, y'all, it's real simple. If you like, whatever you like to fry your chicken in, I usually just use all-purpose flour. And if you like a heavier breading, the way you want to do that, thank you, man. If you like a heavier breading, add a little cornstarch to it and soak these in a little ice water bath ahead of time.
Okay.
If you want to add a little extra seasoning to the ice water, you can do that. But typically, all we'll do, if you want the heavy breading, ice water straight into 75% all-purpose flour, 25% cornstarch, and it'll give a crispier, heavier breading. We're going to go with a light breading, I don't want too much on there. We got just a little Creole seasoning. This happens to be LeBlanc's from Kim LeBlanc down in Gonzales, Louisiana. You can use Slap Your Mama, Tony Sashery's, salt, pepper, onion, garlic, whatever you want. We're just going to stir this around. It's a little light. I like pretty good seasoning. A little bit more.
There we go.
Bang. So we're going to pretty good measure.
All right.
That's what you get. So we're just going to take these in there now. We're going to toss them in a little all-purpose flour.
It's getting fully coated.
Fully coated. Move these over. And we're going to coat them over and we'll just move them over and we got room to do the others.
So when you're doing this, you're only going to put the flour mixture on it one time. You're not going to go back and do a double coat or none of that kind of stuff.
What I found is that if you're just eating, if you're eating these right out of the fryer, you know, you're just seasoning when they come out. That's great. That big old crispy, like fried chicken, that crispy coating on the outside is awesome.
Yeah.
But when you start soaking it in something that a lot of sauce, that sauce softens it up and it wants to fall off.
Yeah.
And that when that falls off, it's just you kind of lose the reason you did it to begin with. So I just like it just something to absorb a little bit of the sauce that's going to stick to the meat and not flake off.
There you go.
But really, that's about it, y'all.
So the next step is to the fryer.
The next step's to the fryer. We're going to fry these now. Chicken wings and you know, chicken in general is going to be a lot more tender meat than this is inherently. So we're like, you know, typically you're going to fry chicken at 330 degree range. We're going to do this about the same and try to get a longer fry. We don't want it to brown and get too crispy on the outside by the time the meat gets completely cooked and starts to tender a little bit. So around 330, the same, about 10, 12 minutes, and we'll pull them out and then we'll get to the sauce. Going right back at you.
All right. Okay, so we're fixing deep fry these pork ribs. Is that just it? You're gonna make a sauce?
There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, you can season these ribs with dry seasoning when they come out, and they're great. Especially if you want to do, we was talking about that real heavy seasoning or real heavy crust on the outside.
Right.
If you do a heavy, crispy crunch, then you probably just want to dry season, because that's part of the goodie of it.
Right.
But the way I've traditionally done it, just because I kind of learned how to do it when I was cooking hot wing contests too, is that we actually make a little sauce. And you guys may have heard of this. This is a pretty popular sauce in barbecue competitions too.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah. I know a lot of people use it when they wrap their ribs too. But we had this around when we were making hot wings, and it's a real simple recipe. It consists of 1 stick of butter, 10 ounces of tiger sauce, and then real technical measurements of Louisiana hot sauce. I just kind of use it until I cover the butt stick of butter real good.
Yeah, so how many shakes is that?
Man, that's about 2 glutes. And then tiger sauce is kind of sweet. It's kind of vinegary as well, but it's a little too much on the sweet. So a little splash of white vinegar kind of seems to balance it out a little better.
Okay.
You got rice wine vinegar, that works good too. All we're going to do with this is stick it over on the electric eye over here, and we're going to melt the butter down until it all comes together. And then once it does, we'll fry our ribs. We'll just throw them right in this pot and roll them around. You'll see it's going to be awesome.
We'll be back. All right, so we're back here with Mark Lambert. He's got the ribs all dredged, ready to put them in the fryer. We're fixing to have a deep fried rib. It's going to be a first for me.
You know, you've heard of some people doing it. Usually they smoke them first.
Yeah.
And they use their leftover ribs to fry. I've tried that, and I just find they come better from raw. You know, you can fry them about anything. You can use peanut oil, vegetable oil. Doesn't necessarily matter. We're good friends with the people at R&B Works, and they make this little 2.5 gallon fryer. It's a really cool little fryer because the basket's just a normal basket, but because of the burner orientation, it's 100 degrees hotter at the bottom of the basket than it is the bottom of the pot. So whenever you drop stuff and stuff falls off of this down into the bottom of the pot, it doesn't burn at the bottom of the pot.
Right.
So it really, over time, just pays for itself and how much you can reuse the oil. So all we're going to do, you notice we've got it around 325. 335. We're going to overshoot just a little from the beginning because as we drop all these cold ribs, it's going to drop down, but we want to hold around 325, 330. So I'm going to slowly start adding them. And anytime you add anything to oil, drop it away from you toward my.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. I love you too.
And we're going to add all these at one time. Now, normally you wouldn't want to do this with something, especially like fish or something like that, because it would drop your temperature down too low. We're going to turn this up just a little bit to maintain that 325, 335 degrees.
When are we going to check on them again?
You don't really need about 5 minutes. We'll go through here in just a few minutes and shake them to make sure they're separated and they don't stick to each other. They take 10 to 12 minutes. We want the marrow to start to come out of the end of the bone. We want them golden and brown. And even though they're kind of crowded, we want some ones on top to start to float a little bit.
Okay.
And then they're ready to go in the sauce. I mean, it's a simple process, just like frying chicken or chicken fried steak, anything like that.
Okay. We'll be back. So, Mark, it's been about 12, maybe 13 minutes on your ribs. They're looking good.
They're nice and golden brown, and when you start to see they're getting ready, you'll start to see a few little black spots like right there. That's where some of the marrow starts to leach out.
The marrow is what?
Oh, it's just the inside of the bone, the filler of the bone.
Okay.
Well, you'll start to see some of that come out, and it'll start. It's real fatty, so it'll start to burn a little bit on the outside.
All right.
Now, all we're going to do when these come out, y'all, is we've got our sauce here. We've got our sauce, and we're just going to take these guys, and we're going to.
If you could smell that, it kind of smells kind of like a wing sauce almost.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it started off as a wing sauce.
So if someone doesn't have an outdoor fryer, they can do this at home in their kitchen too.
Yep, just open the windows because it's
Yeah.
going to smell the the sauce is pretty pungent, and we're going to stack
Ooh,
this
that
up
smells good.
nice and pretty for you. And we're going to go through here.
Kelly's done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally we just sauce them and throw them back in the pan. They don't last very long.
Like Jenga.
We play Jenga, rib Jenga.
That's one I wouldn't mind losing there.
Yeah, exactly.
So we just go through here and stack these up. And, you know, if you want to impress your friends, you bring them out on a board like this, and you know, for a party, it's kind of cool to stack them up like Jenga.
This is a $20 dish at the restaurant.
Easy. There's no doubt how much this is going to cost. So we're going to take one more, and just to stay ornate, we're going to make sure and go.
Seriously, if y'all could smell this right now, oh my gosh.
What's that you're putting on?
These are some garlic chives, just a few garlic chives, and it adds a touch of flavor, and you can start to smell it when it hits the hot rib.
Yeah.
But it really adds a lot of color, appearance to the dish. You can do this with all different types. We do chicken fried bacon. We'll do candy bacon, and we'll serve and stack candy bacon like this.
Right.
And we'll have room in the center for a vase, and we'll do like a maple infused apple cider vinegar with chives. So there's a lot of different ways you can stack this to impress, but at the end of the day, it's a fried rib with a real simple sauce on it. Hope you guys enjoy trying it at home.
Thanks, Mark. Let's have a bite. See what you think.
Sounds good to me.
Break it down.
Have at it.
I'll go. I'm not going to be back.
That's really good.
That's really good, Mark.
It's awesome, isn't it?
That's outstanding.
You know,
It's totally different than a competition texture. You can't even compare it.
it's more like kind of like a hot wing texture.
Like
No.
pork chop.
It's like a pork chop, kind of what it is. It's not falling off the bone. It's got a good texture and a good crunch, and the sauce complements it well.
All of it together. It just works. Mark, thank you very much.
Yes,
Already
thank
on, man.
you.
People come from all over the place at Memphis and May, and they hear about fried ribs, and they come, what time are fried ribs? What time are fried ribs? And usually why?
If you go to Memphis in May, look up Mark Lambert, Sweet Swine of Mine. Tell him you're only there for the ribs. You don't really care about seeing him. It's just where your ribs going to be ready. So thank you for watching Meat Revival today. Be sure to ring the bell to get all the notifications of what we're doing. Thank you again for being here, Mark.
Appreciate you guys.
Let's devour these things.
We'll see you next time.